Thanks for joining in, guys. I'm recording this session, which I will be putting on my YouTube. So I was expecting some more people, but that's fine. Those who dialed in, joined in, I respect your time. And what we will cover, as you know, that identity. So the way I want to do it, kind of give you an idea what it is and why do we need to do that, and then we'll do a couple of demos, which I will show you. Before that, a little bit about myself, why I'm doing it, and all that stuff. So I've been doing this community stuff like this event for the last 10, 12 years. But with this collaboration tool and Microsoft team available, I'm taking this as an opportunity to go outside US. Basically, people come and can connect to these events from any part of the world. But in US, usually I used to go to Microsoft groups for Azure and Office 365 in different states, different cities. So I've been speaking a lot, not a lot, but usually whenever I get a chance and time, I go and speak to those events. And one thing I forgot to tell you, I did not put in the slide, but I'm also speaking to Microsoft Virtual Marathon, which is on May 27 and 28. So 300 plus sessions. If anybody is interested, I will share, or maybe I can send up a follow-up email with all the details. So today we will look into this and have a better understanding along with the tools itself available in Microsoft Azure, and also give you about Office 365. So there are two demos, and and there is some announcement at the end of the session. So if you like it, keep it staying. So here's a little bit about myself. I know there's a lot, but it took me 18, 20 years to achieve those achievements, like part of IEEE speaker, Microsoft. I was a regional director for GitCar, British Computer Society, cloud security. Lately, I have renewed my Microsoft certified training credentials. I'm also certified fundamentals. I took just this exam a few weeks ago. So kind of have this credential, but more these days I work on a lot of cloud security projects, and I've been doing cloud project for the last 8, 10 years. So you're in the right hand. Um, so Azure Identity and Access Management. So this is what it looks like when you go to the cloud. And I do not know how much experience you have, but let's say if you are type in the chat box, if you are in IT, can you type your experience for how long you've been IT? If you do not have, that's fine. I can cover from all experience level, but it will help me to understand. If you have an experience in IT, just type it 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, whichever. So that's in a nutshell. Uh, you have a cloud, and then you people connecting to the cloud, and then you have your source of authentication, which can be on premises in this case, or if you're a cloud only organization, so where on-premise authentication is not needed, you just log into cloud. So that's most of the common case happens in startups basically. um, so people have 8 years here. This is good. So this is awesome if you guys have experience. So I'm sure you will understand more what I'm talking about. But again, if you do not have experience, just put it there. So I will go accordingly. So that's in a nutshell, right? It could be G Suite, for example. So we are talking about Microsoft Azure, and most of the company, what I've been helping them in the last many years is about I'd been helping them migrating to Office 365. Now, please move out. So the thing is that then you need to uh, go to the next, which is security. And if you go and look it up, even during COVID-19, there are like, if I'm not wrong, 300 or 600% increase in those attacks. So the security model changes. Even if you're not a security expert, um, it's not difficult to understand, because traditional firewall is your perimeter when you go to the data center. When you go to the cloud, is your identity, whether it's a Google identity or Microsoft, whichever. That's your one username and password, and that's it. If you do not protect that, guess what? Your business can be out of business. If your personal file, you could be damaged to that, your social security, your tax ID, your tax, your anything which is financial. So this thing happened, but mostly people target financial companies because this is the financial piece attached to it. So why Azure? Because I will cover more in that because it natively and organically helps to the organization if they have Office 365, if they have been using Microsoft Domain Controller or Active Directory. That's the best business case scenario, and this is, I would not be wrong to say, most of the companies, they have domain controller, which is Windows based. I'm not saying there are other platform available, but that's what we are covering and seeing, okay, what's there in Azure and how it can help. So as I said, before, your identity is the thing which you need to be protecting, and Azure comes with that. Azure has some default protection available, but you can increase it based on the business and basic need, but there are some basic fundamentals controls available by default. And the way it works, Microsoft has billions of billion signals available, which we'll see in the next slide, through the internet, and which it does automatically control those attacks or defend against those attacks. And it's all based on AI and machine learning. And they are very simple. And I come from those background the last 20 years. So I know how hard it is if I were to go to an organization and say them, hey, you need to protect. So you have to set up for the server farm, firewall on-prem, high availability, a service goes down. So that's all gone. It's in the cloud, peace of mind. And even it's better for IT professional. We can talk about it because that's a very good area to focus on and learn. So basically, we achieve 3 tasks as per Microsoft. We automate, investigate, and export risk detection. So automate, without automation, you cannot have a good identity protection in today's world because it's impossible, because millions and millions or even billions of attacks or type of attacks and nature of attack, whatever you want to say it, is there. So it's not possible if you have a brute force attack or a spray attack and all that. So that's beyond human. However, there is some investigation. This is where you involve information, a security analyst or junior analyst, those guys who are seeking career in security, or maybe you're coming from identity. So this is where investigation starts. And there you can do some manual investigation, and there you can leverage some AI-based threshold. And I will show you, of course, in the demo. And there are some export of that because you can outsource to third party. We will look into that. In fact, I put some videos on Azure related product, which I will show you what are those, which is comes also the SOC, your Security Operations Center. So you can also outsource them, or you have a team within your company, you can do that. So again, part of the background why automation is important. When we say cloud is going toward automation, whether it's whichever area of cloud, machine deployment, VM, software deployment, you name it. Same applies to security and even more, because as I said before, your line of defense in your data center is your firewall. When it goes to the cloud, your line of defense is your identity. And if you do not protect identity, you're done. So each day, these machine learning, and this is coming from Microsoft, just not my word, it's not statistics. It's just if you go on, look up Google and Microsoft, you'll find it that 18 billion login attempts. So imagine you need machine there, you need machine learning. Distinct accounts, 800 million distinct account, 3 million of adversaries and all that. So they collect the data, and then based on that, it does AI and machine learning and protect. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So this is one of the speaker who worked, and he spoke to Microsoft Ignite conference last year. Unfortunately, we are not going to have this year because of COVID-19. So they had detected billions of attacks, which is 4.6 billion attacks in May, and password spray attack and phishing attack. So why I'm telling you, because you need to understand, it's like not just to go and learn the tool, you need to understand the ecosystem, how these things work, where it's coming from. Because this is very important to have some big background on that, some knowledge around that area. Uh, and that's why it makes a more better solid case. And then it's not easy to just detect these breaches. There could be false positive. There could be false scenarios, which I can talk during the demo. And I can on and on. I can give you so many scenarios. So that's why machine learning and AI has to improve and learn. It's same examples. But again, this thing, what you see on the screen, is coming from the backend databases. Microsoft is using third parties and nonprofit and a MITRE and SANS. Those are the not maybe the SANS, but again, MITRE is a nonprofit and they upload it. So they work in combinations in the backend, like all antivirus and security products. They also do that and collect the data from there. And based on that, these things work. So that's why you need to understand the nature of these attacks, what's going on there. Phishing is very common. I don't know if you know or not. A phishing attack is very, very common, especially in the last 8 weeks, what I've seen myself witnessed. People are being phished more than before, and account gets compromised. So how do we protect that, right? So we'll look into that. So I'll give you a quick demo that one in Azure AD, one in Office 365. So I'll show you, so you will have better understanding. If you are working for an employer and if you have Office 365, you can go and try. And if you're a customer, if you're helping a customer, you can also kind of understand, because Office 365 is a SaaS product which runs on Microsoft Azure. So Office 365 is a SaaS, but all these directories and accounts gets created in Microsoft Azure. So let me switch to window. I believe I have opened it. Give me a second. So let me go to Office 365. I'll log into my portal. You should be able to see it. And so this is my personal production tenant. So, we have to do it.
Hey, hi, this is Zishan. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm working as a cloud security architect in one of the organization, and the basic challenge and the basic query over here is how to secure the CI/CD pipeline when it comes to the security. Will you going to cover this topic even?
That's not in scope, but I know that's there. I can speak to maybe in the end 5 minutes, but that could be a separate session. But if you want to stay, I can give you high level for a few minutes. But this session is about identities, right? Not about CI/CD. Yeah.
So or else you can give me any of the links where I can go and just.
Yeah, they are available definitely. I can after this call, I'm gonna send out an email. I can put those links or maybe put in the chat. Yeah, so there is good enough information available online for sure.
Thank you so much. That will be great. Thank you.
So as you can see, I'm now logging in to my production tenant. And is there anyone on this chat who is using, Zishan just said, anybody else has access to Office 365 or not? Because just if you do have, I'll skip it. If not, then I'll show you. Can you type in the chat box? You want me to continue with this Office 365 thing? Type yes or no.
No, we are not using. No.
Okay. So let me just show you, because this is very important. Uh, Most of the organization, as I said before, are moving toward digital workplace. We are in COVID-19, so all the corporate environment, my experience, maybe a different case for startups, but banking, financials, hedge funds, uh, ton of them, you name it. Whoever runs Windows, they are pretty much in Office 365. So, and now everyone is working or being forced to work from home. When you work from home, then of course you are using Microsoft Team like I'm using it now. And you have an email which runs on Exchange Online or Office 365, and you have Power BI, you have all these SaaS application which is there. But for everything you need to do it, you are doing a account creation like you normally do in your domain controller in Active Directory. Same thing, you come here, you set up your tenant, you create your identities here, basically. So let me refresh. So all these identities I have created, I have assigned the licenses, I have identities. But the point I'm making here, these are not created here. They are run through Azure AD. So let's go to my Azure AD portal, or I can go from here, I believe. It will show me Azure Active Directory. And then one thing I will also show you some control here, but let's move on to there first. So whatever you do in your SaaS application is being basically created here. And this is your Azure platform. Let me go to the user, basically. All right, so yeah. So you see all the users are here. So this Office 365 is SaaS, works on your directory. So this is your actual directory. And this is, you can come and take any action. You create new guest user, like say if I want to invite somebody from Gmail outside my organization, I can do that. All that stuff. I can reset the password. So before I jump on to the next section, let me go back to my slide deck because we want to be in the continuous flow of that. So identities. So, right. So now, what I'm going to do is give you a couple of scenarios, and then we go from there. Let me go back. Yes. So what actually happens is whenever you're here, so you give a user ID and password, and you literally can manage everything from here. But the thing which is not here, which we'll see in Azure, and that's what I'm saying, Azure Identity and Protection. So you created those accounts. Now I'm logging in myself here. I have some people, they log in from UK, my other trainers, or from other different countries. So how do I know? The question, what's the visibility, right? In Active Directory, you are on-prem, so you can be running a monitoring tool or SIEM on premises. You know the login information, the time, all those policies you have on premises. So in Azure, same controls are there. So we'll go one by one. So what is that? So first thing first is sign-in logs. My sign-in logs right out of the bat is there in this blade, basically, and it gives me my 7 days. So as I said, it's my small 10 in my account. You can see. Yeah, I will hide it when I put on YouTube my IP address, but for now it's fine. So you see all my every incident, every application. You see what application I'm using it. So that's the beauty. That's what I like about it. That it gives me my Team Web Client, my Office 365, my Office Suite, Exchange Online, all these services what I'm using it based on the user. So he's my friend on the same training is like Iqbal. He's from UK, so his location is being shown here, I believe. Yeah. See, so and imagine uh, it's going to go back to 90 days. It depends on your subscription type. So the one I have, I believe, is giving me 30 days or 7 days. I don't know if I can go to 30 days, but that's you can go up to 90 days basically. So that's giving me this information that in 30 days or 90 days, whichever the case is, I can go back and look for this sign-in logs. But what you're gonna do, let's say, let me click one of those sign-in log and what it shows here. kind of give you some more information around that. Now, even more information, right? I can find the basic information, location, my device info is Mac OS, which I'm using now. My authentication, this is very important. I can go more and more details, but again, we're going to keep covering more topics on a higher level, of course, so you have a better understanding. Conditional access is a separate topic. I have configured them. This is based on conditions, so that uh, you will see. I plan on doing some in the future. That's like next step, advanced step to do it. And then these are the things. So let me put something around Microsoft Teams, for example. Okay, give you one more example. It gives me my team client, and it gives me my browser or Mac OS. So I might have logged in from my Mac OS and Safari, whichever. So it has that. So these are the all information, which is good, but that's one way of dealing it. But this is not good enough where the cloud is going. So we'll look into that. And one more thing here is audit logs. Let me show you that. So audit log is basically my tenant right now is just the cloud only. It's not having any hybrid, but that's the audit log which give you, okay, when did I change my password? Okay. Uh, STS token, if you're technical enough, you would know these tokens has a validity, and that's how does it work in the cloud, all token based. Uh, and then if I create new users and anything and everything, it will just update here. But if you're in a hybrid environment, will also show you some additional data around that. So you have a target here, who the target. I've created some users, their name you can see, and their target and who did it. You can find modified properties and all that good stuff. So those are the sign-in logs and the audit logs. This is the meat. You need to have that. And then on top of that, you build some, not to build, you leverage some of the capabilities available in uh, this Azure. So we'll jump into the AI and machine learning part right after this. So before I do that, let me bring my slide deck. So now we have the sign-in logs, and these are the by default, I can say, available things that the attack happens with what you should be doing it. Risk detection, type, and description. So what is a typical travel? So a typical travel, there are one example I will share you, but one pro tip I will give you, which you will not hear so many times because you learn from the experience. And that is a typical travel means I'm at my home and I'm signing it at whatever the time is, 1:32 p.m. here in Jersey. And after 5 minutes, my sign-in start coming in from maybe Paris, for example, or maybe from India, or maybe any part from in Asia, for example, or Japan, for example. So how is it possible within 5 minutes I'm traveling that far, right? So there's no way a human and it's impossible regardless, right? So 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 you're not doing at the speed of light. So in that scenario, that things triggers and assign a risk level that this user has been logging in from this location, this country for the last 14, 15 days. Now, all of a sudden, he's coming from China or maybe Japan or Korea, right? So that's a typical scenario. Now, pro tip is now step back. So if I have a company and we have employees working from call center in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, so they are using their email on our, let's say, company email on their devices, but when they come to office, they VPN to US. So you get my point. So their mobile devices are still showing their IP from Malaysia, but when they are using Outlook on a VPN, it's showing US IP. So in those scenario, this is a pro tip. So right, so that's a typical travel may not work. So that's, you have to be creative when you're dealing those kind of things in security and cloud security, for example. Anonymous IP is one of them. Example, again, you can use Tor browser or different browser. So there are database for blacklisted IP addresses, keeps updated from third parties. So Microsoft collects the data from there and block based on that automatically. So you don't have to do that. Unfamiliar sign-in properties. So as I said, if I'm using some product in the last 14, 15 days, and if I have not to sign in and the properties for the signing are changed, that will be trigger. Sign in from a malware linked IP address. Again, it is going back to the malware database and it will trigger. Leaked credential means your account has been compromised. It has capability to find that out. So, and also attack pattern. If there are known attack pattern exist, it will also find out. So that's their built-in controls and capabilities available in Azure. So how you want to use it, how you can leverage that. Some of them automated, some of them are not, right? So you have to go manually. So we'll look into that. What are those? And then uh, one thing you do that with those tools and capability, next step is for you to do the risk investigations I told you before. So these are um, risk detection and remediation when it comes to security, regardless cloud security or regular. You have to detect and remediate. So some of the remediation, which there you can take action and block them, like malware linked IP address. Azure will take care of that. Leak credential, yes, depending you will have to do some manual work around that. So anonymous IP, there are tools available in Azure or Azure Sentinel, which is a SOC, which I'm not sure I'm not going to cover today, but anonymous IP and the malware IPs there. And there are some DDoS attack and all that. That's Azure takes care by default. Now, investigation involves manual steps. So you are either using a third party security operations center, a SOC, basically, or some of the stuff you may also want to do it manually yourself because these are all important things because you need to understand your organization and you need to understand your customer organization depending which area are you at because this is very important. A risky user may not be a risky user. There are some cases. A risky sign-in, as I told you, impossible travel may not be a risky sign-in, right? And the good thing here, it tells you the why that risk was flagged or triggered. That happens through risk detection. Means why did a user flagged for a risky user? Why did there is a risky sign in? That comes from this, the risky detection. That's what you need to understand around the product. So these are there in their Azure. And then if you want to go advanced level where you want to build your SOC, which is Azure Sentinel, I put 4 videos already on YouTube. I'll share those, or maybe I'll send out an email. So you watch for that. So you'll see those advanced level. And then you can have your incident response team. It will go to, so that's the series of videos. So far, I've put 6 very short videos. The plan is to keep putting more. It's the latest and greatest stuff. But here, you can still have these capabilities available within your Azure. So let's take a look what it is, how does it work, how you can leverage that when a risky user is a risky user or not in something. So let me switch to, I believe this one. So now we have seen that. So I hope, let me go back. I don't have a Tor browser. So let me go back here. I'll go to security, Blade here. And in security, I have these risky users and risky sign-in. and detection is not there because that's part of that. So risky user is a user is being possibly compromised. Risky sign-in means sign-ins coming in and they are causing a flag for the risk. So risky user, I believe I may not have any. Okay, okay, nice. I do have. This is perfect for you guys. So, and it is showing from last month. Okay, now take a look because, come on. Right. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, I can talk about it. Don't worry because my subscription is required P2 subscription, Azure Premium. What it does, as soon as I click, it gives me all the data here, which I do not have, but I can talk about it. So let's talk about what it is. Confirm, compromise, reset, block. So imagine if you're working in your company and you're managing Azure portal and you're managing the identity piece or security or working with different teams, you just don't want to do that. That's a pro tip. But you can, if a user is flagged as a risky user, may have been account compromised, whatever. So you can block that user right away, right from here. Or you can reset the password. Or if you think, no, 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 that's not a risky user. I was working on a RDP on a different machine in a different country, so I want to dismiss it. It's not that thing. Or you can confirm. So next time it will go, it's not showing medium and high because usually it does. So that's there. So these things you can take action on it. And here, risk processing state and all that. Let me just select all of them. So it shows the processing state and everything. Any question around that? So that piece is risky user. Now risky sign in. Yes, in the last 7 days, I do not have. Let me try in the month of, I don't know, I hope it give me, yeah. So let me do one thing. Let me go to my, not the, yeah, let me see if I can do a Tor browser for you guys. If I have a few minutes, if you have any question you can ask. I believe I have something here. I think Tor. I don't have a Tor browser here. Maybe right, Tor browser. I should have that. Let me spin it up and well, it's come back. Yeah, that's I just wanted to show you guys. This is really cool stuff. Not sure it's going to boot this machine up. Yeah, that's weird. So, I just think if I can find something for you guys, Tor browser. Let me try something. Proxy. Sign in. Let's see. I don't know. Proxy access login. If we can do it, I don't know. I'm just searching it if we can do it. No. Proxy server sign in. I don't know. Proxy server sign in. Let's see if it's if there's a way I can proxy sign in. Uh, yeah, so that's weird actually. I just I don't know if I can. How can I show you? Okay, let me slide all these. Yeah, I don't find any risk. So I can put some slide. I'm not sure if I can show you now. So what it does, it has a 3 or 4 different sign-ins. If you go back to my slide deck, so risky user sign-in detection. What it does is we come back here, um, go back. So let me move back here. So it basically shows you all the detail. The one I showed you in the sign-in logs, it has pretty much all that, but based on that, it gives you the information that a sign-in location, what that particular event caused that user to sign in. So it gives you the information around that. Uh, and then based on that individual, so let's say if the right sign in could be specific to one application, for example, OneDrive for Business or Exchange Online. So it's each individual event will come here, and that particular event will show you, and then you can figure out, okay, that's particular thing is happening. And then once you click that, it will show you the detection that what that particular event caused that sign in or risky sign in. So that's basically what you have. And again, then individual events you can put it compromise sign in and confirm. So for you to understand, takeaways, that is a risky user means it's applying that policy whichever you use it here for that user account. But here the difference is it will apply that action on that particular sign in activity, not the whole user. Okay, so that's the difference. A risky sign in means to that identity, the login identity. Here, that based on that per application. So the risky sign in caused by Microsoft Exchange, ActiveSync, or Outlook, then it will be triggered, then it will be applied on that activity. But if the risky sign in happens to Teams, so it will apply on that, not to the whole user account. So that's what it's about. Any question? Okay, so now before I end, I want to show you multi-factor authentication. That's the one takeaway. You want to go over how to configure it. Um, 2 ways to do it. I think I showed you one here in sign-in logs, I believe. Uh, a multi-factor authentication, there is no excuse. It's a must-have control, whether you're using Exchange, Office 365, Azure, because your, as I said, account is your breach. If that account gets breached, you're done, right? So, and whenever you set up an account, first time, that's your global account. That's your like a Linux root account or enterprise administrator account on Windows domain controller. So that account must be secured with MFA. So if you select an account here, for example, and then we'll be able to see authentication method here, and then require re-register MFA, revoke MFA. If I want to do it, I can have the user to re-register MFA. So these are the control you can use that. But if you do not have access and you have only Office 365, same thing, you can come here and then we should be able to do it from Office 365 as well. Let me just, I think I clicked on it. And then it brings up here all these things. And then you see on my screen, require multi-factor authentication where the mouse hover, manage, because I believe I already applied it. Let's take a look. It's been a while. If it's not, then we can apply it from here. Come on. And that now here's the list. So if you are only managing through Office 365, multi-factor disabled, right? So most of them I have disabled it. If I select, I can, okay, this is the Gmail, which makes sense. So this is my account in my tenant, right? I have multiple domains, so I can enable it and manage user setting. I have a couple of options to do it. So let me show you for one more account. If this is the account I have, so for me, it's enabled. I can disable it from here, or I can manage user settings. Let's take a look. So require selected user to provide contact method again. There are some scenarios you would need to do that. Delete all existing app password. It will delete all existing passwords. You don't know how many apps if the account is compromised. That's you want to do it. And you can restore authentication all method remember devices, which you would not want to do it, because from security point of view, you would want to delete the password from all the existing app, which will allow user to re-authenticate using MFA. So that's basically are these things which you can leverage, and this is available. MFA is available free of cost in Office 365. You don't pay anything, and you have your user devices work as app authenticator. So that's there. So that's pretty much I wanted to cover in today's identity and access management. And I'll open the floor for questions. Are you using, let me ask you, are you guys using Office 365 email or something else?
Yes, we are using Office 365. Hello.
Yep.
Yes, we are using Office 365 in your office.
I see. So have you come across, are you guys using any, making use of MFA, multi-factor authentication?
Yes.
Nice.
As of now, we are using an Office 365 only, not in Azure.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much the same, but if you want to go to more advanced level,
Yes.
where you want to have more information around signing in logs, because threats and attacks are more. So if you need to do more investigation, so that's your Azure AD, which is core, which will give you all sign-in logs, your audit logs, which already the stuff I have showed you, right? So that's where Azure AD, which comes into the action. But yeah, if you're using 365 with MFA, that's pretty much awesome what you're doing. But the very basic or most significant thing, every organization should be doing it. And for investigation purpose, you may want to use Microsoft Azure.
Yes, it will be pretty much better.
Yep. So if no one has any question, what I'm going to do, I'll wrap it up. And then in few days, expect an email. I'll upload this thing also on YouTube. Plus, there are some videos I put it around Microsoft Azure Sentinel, of course, or I can send you the link right now. Hold on. So that's around building advanced level there. Let me just, before I hang up. So this is, you go to the channel, you can look around it. But I think the video I have here is just about the Azure fundamentals. So that's the link I was there. But anyways, you can go to the main channel page, which I will show you here, and then you will find uh, few more videos, which will be more and more around Azure Sentinel. So there are more videos around those topics, and I'm going to put more. And this is on top of how to automate everything. So as I get more time, I'll be putting more. But there you can find a lot of stuff around best practices for um, securing your tenant and all these things there. There are some industry expert interviews published. So there's a lot of stuff available which may help you. But 7 best practices, the video I wanted to show you is somewhere here. Um, this one. So that's security best practices. So that's another thing you may want to look into if you're focusing towards the security. So that being said, I'll hang up now. I'll put it and watch for an email and we go from there. All right. Thank you, everyone.